Hello, beautiful yogis. So nice to be here with you for our Friday night yin class. Grab whatever kind of space you've got available. You might chuck a blanket or a towel or a mat down if you've got one. And you'll maybe want a block or a book if you've got it for a little bit of more support. And definitely a pillow or two, definitely some supportive props, and grab whatever you need. As we find our place to begin, we're actually going to start in a position called crocodile. I've done this one before. And what it looks like is that you lay flat on your belly and place your palms under your forehead. So go ahead and lay all the way flat. One palm down, other palm down, forehead down. Starting in this nice, fully supported position through the body. And with the elbows out wide and the palms into the forehead, it invites a little space into the chest. And the breath might feel a little bit different here. So just start to tune in. If this isn't particularly comfortable for you, you can also just lay on your back. But it might be a nice place to start a little bit differently today. So either laying on your front, palms under your forehead, or on your back. Any props that you like. As always, be creative with your props and your support throughout the practice. Hopefully we've all had the opportunity to practice together before, either virtually or IRL. But if it's our first time practicing together, my name is Sarah. And we'll take our time through 60 minutes of yin together this evening, or whenever you're watching the replay. For me, the practice of yin is an opportunity to slow down in what can be a very quickly changing, fast-paced experience of life. Because while certainly things are always changing, it's the nature of life, sometimes it can start to feel overwhelming when you start thinking about all the things that are happening. In essence, I suppose your brain, in all its amazing capacity, starts to try to figure stuff out for a sense of control. That feeling of when things are changing so much and we're not on solid ground can feel unstable, unsettling, chaotic. So I invite you to use this practice to slow it all down. I'll guide you through very gently into these poses. You find a spot that feels okay and you pause there. Settle there. Breathe there. Nothing to figure out, nothing to change. Ground yourself into presence. And I don't know about you, but for me, when my brain gets really busy, my heart gets overwhelmed, and it feels like I couldn't possibly control everything around me because how could I? This grounded practice of presence gives me space to be a little bit more settled. So that by the time we finish this practice together tonight, you can take that calmer, more centered self back out into the experience of the world around you. And I know at the moment there's a lot of discussion about making big change in the way that we're conditioned, in the way that we move through the world, based on all the stuff that's happening globally, pandemic and otherwise. But we're not going to be very useful to anyone if we're in our super stressed state and overwhelmed. We can certainly be a gift to ourselves and of use to others in this time of change. If we come back to our best selves, calmer, more grounded, more centered. So take this moment to settle wherever you are. Take a full breath into your heart, belly, and back body. Release the exhale nice and slow. Twice more, a deliberate inhale, expand, take your time. A sigh perhaps to release. One more, ground yourself in a breath in. And feel your body recede to center as you exhale. Already, just 3 deliberate, conscious breaths can give you a feeling of centering your energy. Rather than scattering to a million thoughts, external experiences, close down your eyes, center your breath, and just be here. Prioritize your ability to find presence, knowing that no matter what circumstance you find yourself in, whether it's a yoga pose, an external challenge, or a difficult conversation, or whatever comes, when you take your calm, centered self with you, when you develop this practice of centering on a few deep breaths, it always improves the situation if you can find your center and a little bit more inner peace. So rest in this space as often as you can and practice coming back there with just a few deep centering breaths. One more breath here. Lengthy exhale. Our first shape is our shoulder roll or shoulder stretch or broken wing or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to start laying down on our belly. So if you're not already there, please take your time to lay flat on your belly. And then we'll take the right arm out behind you. I'm going to stand up on my knees to show you what this looks like, but you'll remain laying flat. Reach your right arm directly to the right, in line with your right shoulder. Avoid the arm coming down here or kind of up here, chicken winging. Instead, reach it straight out, perpendicular to the body, like it's shooting out from the shoulder. You can choose to bend the elbow or not, whatever, but keep the elbow up. Right cheek on the mat. Left hand presses down under the left shoulder and start to peel the left hip and shoulder open. You choose, you can squeeze your knees, stack them in towards the chest. You can keep the right leg straight and step the left foot up and over. The goal is to stretch the front of the right side of the chest. So rearrange, you can slide the arm up and down, bend or straighten. Find something that works for you. But once you're there, settle into it. Let the right side of the chest peel open. You can also take the left hand to the lower back if you want a little bit more opening to the left chest as well. I know for me, there's been a sensation, experience of intense emotion over the last couple weeks. Maybe the last couple months. 2020, what a legend of a year. But there's a lot of stuff going on. And when there's a lot of stuff going on around us, we can't help but absorb some of that experience, some of that energy. And of course, when things are changing around us, we have a reaction to it. And that's all good. That's all okay. That's all natural and normal. But this ability to come back to center, to practice being with whatever arises, discomfort, anger, pain, sadness, grief, all of the things that could possibly arise in your state of emotion and mind. The practice here is just to be with whatever comes up, like the sensation in the chest, like a physical or mental or emotional reaction. So that we become little bit by little bit more okay with whatever comes up. So be okay in this practice here of feeling whatever sensation arises. Not pushing into it, not making a story about it, not making it mean anything. The practice is just to be here as you are and be okay with whatever arises within you. Center yourself on your breath. Feel it rise and fall. And invite in this sense of deep acceptance that whatever arises, you're okay. And little by little, breath by breath, we practice centering ourselves right in the middle of our breath, of our heart, no matter what arises around us. See if you can stay centered on your breath Each time you notice something else arise, let it be and come back to your inhale into the heart space. Grounding into your exhale, surrendering the breath. Just take a few more slow, deep breaths here. Last breath. Take your time with it. Now to come out of the shape, really take your time. Left hand comes back under the left shoulder. You gently peel the left side of the body back down. In between each pose and the yin practice, you get to do whatever you want. Move, stretch, wriggle. Do anything that feels good in your body here. Goodness, that felt good. And then find a little moment of stillness. So for you, it might just be laying flat on your belly, palms under the forehead again. You could come to a seat. Just find anywhere, eventually, when you're ready to stop moving, and let your body be still. Recenter on the breath. In the stillness between the postures, it might give you just a little quiet moment to be observant. A little quiet moment to recalibrate to an ease of breath. And each time you pay attention to your breath, you're solidifying your ability to come back to presence, centeredness, calm. So take your time, recenter on your breath, building your ability to recenter no matter what's happening around you. One more breath. If you're not already, please come back down. Same stretch, other side. So here, it's the left arm that extends straight out to the left. You're laying flat on your belly. The arm shooting straight out from the shoulder socket over to the left. Left cheek down. Right hand presses under the right shoulder to peel you open. And then go ahead and choose a position with the arms and legs that feels good. Remembering the left arm doesn't want to be down by the left side of the body. It wants to be shooting out straight behind your shoulder, creating a stretch across the left side of the chest. You can choose to step the right foot behind, to stack the knees and squeeze them into the chest, to bend or straighten through your left arm at the elbow. You choose. But once you've found a place that feels like, yeah, this is it for me for today, not pushing to my 100%, but not holding back, just finding that happy medium where there's a little sensation there. Sink in. You know, this yoga practice has been I don't even know how to describe it in words, how much it's been useful to me in my daily life. The skills that we practice here are so translatable. Because before the yoga practice and all its philosophies, I didn't realize that all of the stuff that happens in my mind doesn't have to be in control. Like if I was in this shape here, in my very first yoga class ever, I can imagine that my brain would have been feeling like all these crazy thoughts running through. Like, oh my God, I don't like this. Or, oh my God, I want to be doing that. Or what on earth is this sensation? What does that mean about me? That I'm tight in my chest? Does it mean I'm closed off? Does it mean that I'm not as good as the other person who can do this shape better? Oh my God, who am I for having all these thoughts? And all of that kind of whirlwind spiraling through the mind and super attached to all those thoughts. And oftentimes when I would feel really emotional, I'd feel like I wasn't okay. And through this practice, I've discovered that I can be okay even when I'm not okay. Let that one sink in. Like you're okay even when you don't feel like you're okay. I'm sure you might have a little feeling sometime in the last few months where you were like, I don't know if things are going to be okay. But here we are, doing a yoga class on YouTube. Things are different. Things might be challenging. Things might be emotional. Things might make you reactive. But you're still okay. And somewhere underneath all that spiral of thoughts and emotions, if you take a few deep breaths, can you recenter? Can you soften into that space at the center of your chest? Or maybe you feel it down in your belly, where you're just present here in this moment. A centering quality of stillness somewhere underneath all of the change. Where you can stand back and just watch the rise and fall of the breath. Try it now, just a few breaths to watch, surrender, center. Just one more breath now. Watch it come, watch it go, and then gently, slowly come back down onto your belly. Ooh. Ooh, goodness gracious. Stretch out, move around, do anything you need to do. Wriggle around, make some space. And when you feel like you can take a moment to pause, please do. You can lay on your back, on your belly, you can come to a seat or child's pose. You do you, but find a place to rest, to pause, and settle in there. Watch the breath rise and fall. Recenter. Okie dokie, beautiful humans. Take another full breath. Sigh it out. And then make your way up to a seated position for our next couple of poses. So we're going to take a variation of a side bend, open up the arms a little bit, but the variation of the legs is up to you. We're going to take a little bit of a hip opener For a lot of us, if you're sitting up straight, we're going to bring the legs out in front of us, and you kind of feel like you're hinging back, like your tailbone's tucked under and your lower back's kind of pointing backwards. Go ahead and chuck a pillow or a book or something underneath your hips. And putting the prop there just helps to create a little bit of space for the tailbone to point back so that your lower back feels longer, more spacious, and like it can almost tilt forward or at least straight up, but not tucking back and down. So once you've found a position that feels good in your hips grounding, we're going to either take cow face, Gomukhasana, or a double pigeon, Agni Stambhasana. Not like we don't really need to know the names. But options for the legs are either both shins track parallel and you stack one on top of the other. Let's go right leg on top. So I'm doing mirror image to you. Right leg on top. Option number 1, fire log, Agni Stambhasana. Cool. That doesn't suit you, feel free to either draw the bottom heel all the way in and just let that knee hang out in space, tight ankle, or you can put both knees stacked over top of each other, heels coming back towards the hips, cow face pose. You choose. You feel your hips. What does your right hip want to do? Does it want to pull in this direction, get a little extra juicy there? Or would you rather have the shins stacked, maybe the bottom heel drawing in? You do you. Find something that opens the right hip. And if it feels yuck, terrible, and disgusting, and you know you've got tight hips, honor that. And maybe just extend the left leg straight, right knee can open, or stack over top of the left knee. You do you. Support yourself with props and use poses that are appropriate for your body. We're all built differently, so just find what serves you best. Now, as we find this position, oh my God, you might have been already in it for a little while. Reach your right arm up to the sky and then place your right hand in between your shoulder blades. Option number 1, left hand can go on top. And as you lift up, and you just lean nice and slowly over to the left. So the right hip's dropping down, right elbow's lifting up, and you're stretching along the right side of the waist. Or option number 2 is to take the left hand down and around to the lower back, reaching it up for the right fingertips. And if they grip together, cool. If not, it might just be more useful to put the left hand down. And if it feels yucky, compressed, and weird, you can also just bring your left hand down next to you and lean up and over through the right elbow, right side waist. So you do you. Feel what suits here. Relaxing through the shoulders as much as you can. We're only going to hold the side bend, elbow lean situation for about a minute. And then we're going to offer ourselves a little bit of a forward fold. The aim of this shape, though, is to open up the side of the ribs a little, the underarm a touch, knowing that we can hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. See if you can soften them down. And bring the gaze to any position that feels okay for the neck and allows you to soften your shoulders. Just a little bit more space for breath here. Good. As you inhale, reach both hands up. Keep the legs. Drop the right hand down next to the right hip, left arm up and over. Take a little side bend to the other side. Sinking maybe a little bit deeper now that you don't have the elbow involved. One more long breath in. Soft breath out. Inhale back to center. You can stay up tall. Maybe just bring your hands down next to you. Or if you've got space, you can start to walk your hands forward. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the clock. I know your right hip might be feeling a sensation. And maybe your mind is telling you some stories about how that's feeling. All of that is fine. And you can choose to use this as an opportunity to center yourself no matter what sensations or thoughts or feelings are arising. Tune into a big breath in. Long breath out. Just a few more breaths. While you settle in, can you relax the muscles of the hips and shoulders? Let your head hang. Maybe place your elbows on your legs, head in the hands. I used to feel like maybe it wasn't okay to have certain emotions. Anger, to cry, all that kind of frustrating emotion that like culturally maybe we've learned is not appropriate in certain situations. And lately sometimes I feel this urge like well up, that feeling like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry, that sensation. And the more I resist it, the more I feel it and the more intense it becomes. And then at some point I go, who cares? It's okay. You can cry if you want to. And that surrendering feeling often makes it all just soften. Maybe I cry, maybe I don't. Oftentimes just the permission to feel it softens that intensity from about 200 to 2. So as you say for your last 3 breaths, ooh, what a hold. Can you just breathe into center and accept whatever is there. Surrender to it, soften into it. You've got this. Big inhale. Full exhale. One more. Long breath in. Take your time with your inhale breath. Stay to surrender to softness on the exhale. Relax the hip bones. And then gently, woo-wee, walk your hands back towards you. God, that was the most American I've ever sounded. Hands behind you, legs extend out. Oh, geez Louise, that right hip. The relief. What magic. Move a little, as much as you like. In fact, wriggle, shake it out, move as much as you need. And before we head into the other side, just take a little moment and center. If you like, of course, you can lay on your back or on your front, but it might just be nice for a few breaths to be here. You might even rest your hands on your torso, tuck your chin. Center yourself on that ebb and flow of the breath. One more. From wherever you went, come back. We got to balance the sides out. Yeah, we do. All right, so here's your options again. Sitting on a block, for sure. Always nice to help elevate the lower back. This time it's the right leg on the bottom, left leg on the top. Option 1, Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose, square pose, box pose. I've heard it called lots of things. But the general thing is that the left shin's on top, the right shin's on the bottom. The ankle's trying to be all the way over so the foot can be free. You do you. And then bottom heel, of course, could draw in to create a little bit more space for the left leg. Option number 2, cow face, Gomukhasana, left knee on top of the right knee, and the heels are pulling back towards you to the degree that feels appropriate. Especially in that one, think about the left hip bone rounding down so you're not leaning all the way over. And then, of course, another option to extend the bottom leg and find either the figure 4 position or the left knee on top of the right knee, shoelace pose. So you find what's appropriate for you, and please support with props as much as you need. You've got all those pillows lying around your house or books or all the other stuff that we generally don't use or need. So find whatever props make you feel good. And then stick with me here. Left arm reaches up. Left elbow bends, hand between the shoulder blades. Your options. Right hand on top as you lean up and over. And make sure you're not turning your chest down. Keep it open. Find a little side bend. Option number 2, right hand to the ground. Option number 3 for intensity, right fingertips grab for the left fingertips. Whatever variation of the arms you've got going on. Find a little space to slide the left shoulder back and down and to soften through the right shoulder. So both shoulders feel a bit free. And then gently as you lean to the right, keep the left shoulder tipping back to avoid it crouching forward. And turn the gaze whatever feels best on your neck. You've got a few breaths here, so can you ground the left hip? Soften both shoulders. And breathe into center as you notice sensation or thoughts arise. Just one more breath. As you inhale, both arms reach up. And final side bend to the other side, left hand down, right hand up and over. Finding just a gentle side stretch, but again, don't let the right shoulder dip forward. Keep it peeling back a little. So you're feeling this deliberate stretch from the right hip to the right underarm, maybe even to the right fingertips. Relaxing the neck, softening the shoulders. One more long inhale. Strong exhale. As you inhale back up through center, maybe you stay upright, placing your hands down next to your hips. Maybe you bow forward any amount. Maybe hands come in front, or elbows can rest on maybe even a pillow or something under your hips, or under your elbows, on legs, on pillow, something. So that your head can rest in your hands. Up to you. Find support where you can. Find space to soften into it where it's appropriate. This yin practice, the magic of being in shapes that don't always feel amazing, but you know they're good for you. I much prefer a fast-moving practice that mimics my daily life. But there's so much more to be found in these moments of pause. Can you stay and center yourself on the breath? And for bonus points, start to be curious about what your mind is telling you about this shape, about this moment, about what it means about you. And see if you can set the stories aside as you slide back into just feeling the breath that centered you, watching everything rise and fall. Just a few more breaths. You've got this. Take one more slow, steady inhale. A long exhale breath, let it go. As delicately as you can, lift up. Ooh, shuffle out through the legs. Give them a little bit of gentle movement. Do whatever you need to do. And then after this shape, I might suggest either Shavasana, laying on your back, or back the way we began, crocodile pose, laying flat on your belly, just to extend out through the hips. So you choose. And of course, if you'd rather stay in a seat or child's pose, something cool, no worries. But if you can find somewhere to be still once you've shaken out whatever needs to be shaken out. Let your whole body soften and relax. Center yourself on your breath. Watch the inhale come and the exhale go. Changes back into an inhale and then transforms into an exhale. Again and again. And then take a deliberate inhale, re-energize. Surrendering exhale to soften a little. And then bring that energy with you as you come to a hands and knees tabletop position. Hands under shoulders. Press up. And then walk your knees directly underneath your hips. You might want your pillow, you might want your books, you might want all of your props for this one. We're going to take melting heart pose, Anahatasana, also known as puppy. They all have so many names. The intention is to relax and open through the upper back and chest. So you might put a pillow, a big old pillow, like bolster-sized pillow or two in front of your thighs, and that can help support your belly as we bow forward. Notice that my butt is right above my knees. You want to keep that, avoid leaning forward or back so that the leg bones just support you. You don't have to do so much work. And then as you come forward, if you've got another pillow or a block or something, you can put it underneath your forehead. As you walk your hands forward, arms begin to straighten or elbows ground. And hands can go wider if that feels better. If you've got more space, like you don't need the block or pillow under your forehead can come down to the ground. Sinking some more weight heavy through the shoulders. For me, I like to spread my hands wider apart. I feel like it softens the shoulders back and away from the ears and opens the chest a little bit. And if this is no worries for you at all, untuck your chin. Wherever you are, find a little softness here. The practice of yoga, and especially yin, gives us the opportunity to slow down and notice. Can we be okay with whatever arises? Can we find that sense of inner peace with the breath? So that whatever we face around us, we take our best selves into it. So here, pay attention to the feeling of the breath, to the sensations rising and falling, the thoughts and emotions too. And with all of that swirling thought, emotion, sensation, reaction, can you come back to center? To breath, to surrendering the heart space into gravity. Stay and feel and breathe. One more breath. Gently slide your hands under your shoulders. Press up. Oh, Lordy. Take a little movement that feels good. Of course, slide any props out of the way. Keep them handy though. And then move as much as you need to move. Release as much as you can. And then find a little pocket of stillness in any pose that lets you feel the most relaxed. Recenter into your breath. All right, beautiful yogis, it's time to recline. So nice and gently make your way down onto your back. Keep your props handy. We're going to head into a supported bridge pose. So as you lay down onto your back, bend your knees, soles of the feet plant on the ground. And then you lift your hips just a little so you can slide props underneath your butt. You can put books, pillows, blocks, children, stuffed animals, pets, I don't know, whatever's going to stay. Children might be a little bit wiggly. Something underneath your hips so that you feel supported. Any degree of lift. And then it should just feel like a nice opening across the front of the hips. Now you might just knock your knees together. That's always nice. You could walk your feet further away from you, but only if it doesn't feel crappy on your lower back. If it starts to feel compressed, like the lower back is just folding in half, not good. Come back, find a softer variation. You choose hands by your sides, on your body, overhead, anywhere that you like. And as you find this supported bridge pose, hip opening, maybe you open the arms a little, heart opening too. Keep staying in this state of awareness. That opportunity to watch. What do I feel? What does my mind say about it? Am I creating stories and dramas and stress? The mind is a funny thing. But you can use it to your advantage too. So when you notice that your mind is spiraling, trying to protect you, trying to figure it all out, trying to be in control, that beautiful, silly, protective mind, you can direct your energy, your mind, your thoughts to the breath, to the body, and the result is always presence. Feel your breath, feel your body, and here you are. Centered, clear, settled, right at the middle of your breath, that center point. When your mind gets confused, stressed, and overdramatic, and you wonder, I don't know if I can get through this, in a yoga pose, in a fitness class, in a difficult conversation, in a wild situation, come back to that part of you at center. While the mind may wonder if you can get through, that center point in your heart always knows, yeah, you can. Find the center of your breath, like the eye of a storm. That still point right in the middle that everything else swirls around. Thoughts, emotions, energy, sensation. Be the one who's watching.
3 more long, deliberate breaths. Now, if your feet have walked away from you, walk them back under the knees. As you anchor the soles of your feet down, squeeze the butt a little to lift and slide your props out from underneath you. Off. And as you lay down on your back, rock the knees side to side. Oh, geez, that feels good. Mm-hmm. You might even drop the knees off to the left, arms wide for a few breaths. And then come back through center, knees to the right, arms wide for a few breaths. Come back through center, still lying down on your back. Decide if there's any other movements you need in your body before we rest. You can give the knees a squeeze. You can take another back bend, a forward fold. You can kick your legs up, shake them out, swirl the wrists and ankles. Do whatever feels like it promotes a sense of freedom in the body for you. And then find a really nice, comfortable position. You might support your hips or your knees or your head, or I don't know, whatever's going to feel good for you. Maybe you chuck a blanket over you if you're in this beautiful, coldy Melbourne weather like I am. Oh, I miss summer. I miss Bali. I miss traveling. But here and now in this moment, opportunity to stay and relax. So snuggle up however you like, and then let your body start to feel really heavy. Feel the body in contact with the floor, whatever props you have beneath you. Soften more and more with each exhale breath. Draw your awareness down into the soles of your feet, the toes, tops of the feet, like you're tracing across all of the muscles of the feet. And then let them sink into a heaviness with gravity. Then trace across the ankles, the shins, the calves, and the knees, the lower leg. And as you feel the muscles there, the bones, can you let them become heavy and relaxed? Slide your awareness across the fronts of your thighs, the back of your legs, your hamstrings, the sides of your hips, your glutes, the front of the hips, the upper leg, pelvis, and hip area. And make a deliberate effort to relax all of those large muscles. Heaviness sliding across the whole lower body. Anchoring you, grounding you, relaxing you. Draw your awareness up to your belly, navel,
the front of your abdomen, and the sides of your waist. And see if you can relax all the tiny little muscles that wrap around across the torso, belly, and sides of the waist. Relax through the abdomen, totally soft and released. Now feel across the front of the collarbones, chest, ribs, underarms, the top front side of the torso. Relax, soften, and feel as you exhale the sense of release and heaviness come across the chest. Now slide your awareness into the back of the body, lower back, middle back, the muscles that spread across the back of the ribs and the upper back. And allow all of those muscles to relax up the edges of the spine, the whole back, the whole torso and lower body relaxed. And spread your awareness across your shoulders, front, back, and sides. Down your upper arms, through your elbows, down your forearms, and across the palms and fingers and backs of the hands. As you exhale, let all the muscles in your arms down to your fingers completely soften and settle. Feel the torso, arms, and legs completely soft and relaxed. Now feel the throat, the pit of the throat. Trace your awareness across the jaw, lips, tongue, cheeks, nostrils, eyelids, forehead, brow. Even all the little bits on the top of the head and the back of the skull. As you exhale, let everything become softer. Release the need to control anything. Sounds like freedom. Relax. The breath comes and goes. Sensations come and go. Reactions in the mind and in the heart come and go. But somewhere underneath all of it is you watching. Sit in the seat of the observer and drift into the space between sleep and awake for just 3 minutes here. It's not long, so please stay. Rest. If you have more time, feel free to stay a little longer and let all these moments of stillness and connection integrate. If you're ready, start to deepen your breath. And then invite movement when you're ready. A wriggle, a stretch. I like to reach my arms overhead, like reawakening. And then hug your knees in towards your chest when you're ready. And give yourself like a proper cuddle, like a squeeze, a hug, a little I love you. Because when we stop and pause, there's also this feeling of gratitude that can arise. Like, how incredible is it that you have a mind that can notice all of these thoughts and feelings and sensations? How incredible is it that you have a body that you're experiencing life with? How wonderful is it to have a heart that beats and breath that breathes and a body that moves? How grateful must we be in this moment to have all these things at our disposal that we often forget? Take a little moment of gratitude for your body, your heart, your breath, your mind. Say a little silent thank you to yourself as you give yourself a big cuddle. And then make your way up to a seat to finish. Any seated position you like. Might feel nice to lift up through the spine, open up through the chest, and bring your palms to heart center, Anjali Mudra. So at the end of the yoga class, the teacher says namaste. The students sometimes say namaste, but oftentimes I feel like this incredible power of that word gets lost because we just think, okay, class is done. With your hands on your heart here, we say this word namaste to each other, but tune into its feeling. Like from your heart, you're acknowledging that there's some part of you, that observer, that ability to feel, that ability to notice, that sense of self that's beyond all the fluctuations and reactions, that sense of centered, peaceful self. And when we say namaste, it's a recognition that every single person that's ever existed, every being that ever existed, has that same part. So as you place your hands towards your heart and you feel into that space, tune in to that space within you that knows there is no difference or distance between any of us. And from that space, we say to each other, namaste. Thank you, beautiful yogis. It is sincerely a pleasure to share this practice with you online, whether you're watching live or replay. Please join me every Friday night for a yin or replay, whenever you like, and have a beautiful week, yogis. If there's anything else you'd like to see in our virtual studio, please let us know. And if you're not already on our patreon.com/HeroYoga community, please join in. Tomorrow, Nikki is running a beautiful philosophy workshop. We're exploring like the background of yoga and how its philosophies apply in our daily life today. So it's pretty incredible, and it's free for all patrons. So please come along to that Saturday, June 6th, 1 p.m. Or you can always replay any of our videos if you're on our Patreon or YouTube. Have a blessed weekend. Take care, yogis. Namaste.